Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
Here we are on November 7th, and the NRA is expecting a huge windfall as many Democrats seek to take advantage of their Second Amendment rights. That's crazy, but okay. At the same time, Planned Parenthood is very concerned about their future because most leftist women have decided that they're all for abstinence now. So the man said that conservatives and Republicans would win so much they wouldn't know what to do with themselves. I expected it would at least take until he took office to see change. But here we are, November 7th, and the liberals want guns and abstinence. It's a crazy world, folks. Enjoy it.
What an interesting thing. So suddenly the left wants all the things that the right has been like, these are good for our people. Hello. We're going to get into this abstinence thing in a little bit. It's crazy.
I genuinely hope, as many people have trouble processing the results of yesterday's selection, that you know that your neighbor isn't the problem. It's two wings of the same corrupt bird. Riding on one side isn't going to help bring that bird down. But they have a script that they are following. And they will reveal to you what is ahead of time if you pay close attention. I saw that the narrative was set up for him to be put in again. Those who are actually controlling this stage show want us to turn on each other, not them. So, I don't consent to a civil war. I don't really consent to any physical war. Revolution would be the only one that might help. But I don't think that physical violence is the answer. It's all in our mind. Thoughts create reality. This is a mental prison. Try not to give up that emotional energy that the evil ones keeping us here so desperately want.
That is a very powerful position, and I've noticed over the last several elections how more divided our country has become and how much more these political shows have become this person's bad and that person's bad versus, hey, let's do this together, let's make our country better. It's always one side against the other, and how much more can I make them hate each other? And there's a lot of that going on right now.
40 monkeys escaped from a bioresearch facility owned by Alpha Genesis last night in Beaufort County, South Carolina. It is not yet known what trials the escaped monkeys were taking part in, nor whether they were exposed to any diseases. A police search is underway, and residents are strongly advised to keep doors and windows secured.
What the actual F? There are bioresearch monkeys out and about, and this is how I have to hear about it, is on TikTok. What is going on? Is this like part of the plan? This is going to be, ooh, just like at the end of, oh my goodness. Okay, just like at the end of Trump's last thing, we had the COVID mess, right? What are these monkeys doing? That's my conspiracy brain for you. Hey, thanks for stopping by. If you've got a conspiracy brain too, won't you hit that like button for me? It'll really help out the channel. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and then come on back. I'm making a new episode every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
This is insane. Trudeau just banned TikTok. I guess my videos must have really gotten to him. His reason is that he's citing national security concerns. He ordered them to close their offices, but Canadians can still use the app. And I thought I saw this last night and I didn't believe it. I was like, okay, this is just fake news. This is people making stuff up. No, this is legit. When in the history have we ever banned a social media app? What Trudeau needs to do, which he has never done, is show full transparency. He never did it with India, and he destroyed all relations with him. He knows there's foreign interference. He knows who those members of parliament are, but he refuses to divulge any of that information. And this has always been the issue with the Liberals. There is this consistent approach of taking this black ops style governance where things are done in the background, they're done by one person and one person only, and it is a complete government overreach, which I believe should be a threat to our democracy because it is acting more like a dictatorship. At the end of the day, I honestly believe he just lost the narrative. He can't control it on here because this is not a platform that can be moderated. It's not a platform that he can control. It's no longer the days of 2020 where you can control information. Information is free flowing. This whole concept of misinformation, of security issues, publish the data. Let's see exactly what you're talking about. All he's doing is he's trying to control the upcoming election because he is getting absolutely demolished. And this is going to be the final nail in the coffin for the Liberal Party.
Trudeau has definitely made some questionable calls, and censorship because he can't control the narrative. That's a big red flag right there. Good thing you guys have an election coming up. Hopefully you can turn your country back for the better.
If I wanted to, I could make a sperm out of your skin cells and an egg and fertilize that.
So you can clone me.
I could clone you. I won't do that because it's illegal, but biologically we could do that. I can make organs, mini organs from you and test drugs. When you come to my lab, and you have to promise you're going to come, I'll show you we grow these mini brains in the lab. And we've got them from people that are predisposed to Alzheimer's or not. And we have a way to age those brains so that they're now 80 years old, even though they're only a few months old. And they lose their ability to fire electrically. They become demented in the dish, little mini brains. On Instagram, I've shown some photos of these. They're pretty cute. And so we give them Alzheimer's and dementia in the dish. And then what we do is we have the system to turn on those 3 embryonic genes, OS and K, and those brains go back in age. But here's the cool thing. Alzheimer's goes away. They get the electrical activity comes back. Now we do this in a mouse. We make the mouse older, just let them age out, or we accelerate it. And we've been now reversing the age of those brains in the mice. And you can guess what happens. They get their memory ability to learn back.
Unbelievable.
And if this is such a fascinating discovery, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we helping these people that have dementia or Alzheimer's if this can be done? It's the money.
So election humor aside, take a look at this map. Those are all the states in blue that after Kennedy requested to be removed from their ballots, chose to leave him on. Can anyone explain to me why that's not federal election tampering and why those states and the organizations that left him on the ballot should not be sued? Serious question, because this could happen to either party in the future. If there was a situation where the Democrats have 2 really charismatic leaders and one steps down, but the Republican states leave them both on, splitting the vote so they can sweep the state, y'all'd be pissed. This shouldn't stand. We should all agree that that was federal election fraud and that there need to be consequences. What do you think?
I think I agree with that. His name should have been removed off the ballot as requested, and the people that actually did cast a vote for him should have been able to not. Yeah. What do you think?
So one of the promises Trump made to us was that once he's elected, he will end the war within 24 hours. Well, guess what? He won the election, and within 24 hours, Hamas calls for an immediate end to war after Trump election win. We told you guys, all these countries around the world, they didn't respect us. Once they saw the Afghanistan pullout failure, they knew that they could do whatever they wanted. They saw weakness, they saw blood in the water. But now that the big boys are back, now that the real man is back, Donald J. Trump, everyone's going to start calling for peace. Promises made, promises kept. Within 24 hours, Trump has ended the Hamas-Israel war. Now, when he's in office, let's see if he can end the Ukraine-Russia war within 24 hours. So thank you, Trump. Peace through strength. God bless Trump.
I wasn't sure how factual that was, and I looked it up. And yeah, they're actually calling for the end of the war, which is pretty fantastic. Now we can stop sending all of our money there.
The city will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program that had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others.
This pilot program in New York City, drenched in both humanity and controversy, distributed debit cards to migrant families staying in city-funded hotels and allowing them to buy their own food. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einier following the breaking news for us. Josh?
Well, Bill, it's a program that, as you say, generated plenty of controversy, but now its absence may raise even more questions. The so-called Immediate Response Cards pilot program was designed to help feed migrant families who'd found themselves in New York with no way to afford food. The one-year contract provided what the city described as culturally relevant food to 2,600 migrant families, allowing them to basically buy what they wanted. A family of 4 with two kids under 5 got about $350 per week to cover food in a program the city said would actually save taxpayers millions a year. It also reduced food waste. You may remember the food the city had been providing in migrant shelters was seen as not culturally sensitive to the needs of some migrant groups, and it ended up just going to waste. For more than a year, the city was groaning under the weight of more than 200,000 asylum seekers. Officials say the migrant population has actually reduced lately. In fact, a massive shelter on Roosevelt Island is in the process of closing. In the meantime, Mayor Adams spoke on the phone yesterday with President-elect Donald Trump, who had vowed during his campaign to mass deport migrants. Aside from congratulating him on his win, though, Adams today would not say what they discussed.
Did you catch that? These people broke into our country illegally and had the nerve to turn away food that was given to them for free because it wasn't culturally appropriate. Are you kidding me? I'm just so glad that no more of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars are going to go towards funding people who are breaking the law.
What is going on right now? China just announced that it hopes for a peaceful coexistence with the United States and that they respect the choice of the American people. Hold on, bro. So you telling me the second that Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden China want to send out good favors and good conversation, when it's really been like a Cold War between us, China, and Russia for like Biden's whole term for real? And in general, of course, but yo, it was really crazy during that time. And this is the thing that I be confused about. Now, I'm not a Republican and I don't support either party, but I think people should take note that the Democrats are very war hungry. They're very blood hungry. They are constantly at odds and at wars with the superpowers across the world, bro. The Democrats are just very good at making it sound good to you. But they be doing the same thing the Republicans do. They're just way more Machiavellian. There ain't no way you telling me the second Donald Trump gets elected, all of a sudden, the other superpower in the world wants to peacefully coexist. And if that isn't feedback for you for the way that Biden ran his term and Kamala aided him, I don't know what is, bro.
There's that old saying of keep your friends close and your enemies closer. And that's what he's doing. He's keeping a good rapport with the rest of the leaders of the world. And I don't know why that's such a big deal. I mean, it didn't work out for the last 4 years. It worked out the 4 years previous to that, and it's going to work out the next 4 years. I have high hopes. But he's keeping them close, like he should. And then, if they make a wrong move against the United States, they know he means business.
Moments ago, Donald Trump made his first big staffing decision at the White House. He named Susie Wiles as his chief of staff. That is a big nod to the campaign manager who sustained her entire tenure. Trump is famous for changing up teams. He'd fired other campaign managers, as you may remember, during past campaigns. She and La Savita made it for the duration of the campaign. She is seen as a more rational kind of traditionalist. There's reporting, including from outlets that have been critical of Trump, like The Atlantic, that she was one of the few people who actually would confront him, give him bad news, ask him to change. He would famously resist some of those requests, but he apparently respected her, even as she did what so many aides are afraid to do. So that's news breaking tonight, his first big White House staffing decision.
I had originally had another clip slated for this spot. It was the same story, but the news people were talking about how, oh, it's a woman, it's a woman, it's a woman. And it was all about her being a woman, not about her doing a fantastic job and challenging him. And that's what's important, her merit, not her genitalia.
Okay, I'm not mad at the blue bracelet movement. You know, if that's what y'all want to do, I'm not mad at you. And let me tell you why. So yesterday, I didn't go anywhere. I was in my feelings, so I did nothing but lay on this couch all day. So, but I had to go to the store this morning. And the area where I live, people are, usually very friendly. It's always, hi, So I get a lot of that. But today, I didn't feel it. And I don't know if it was just, if it was me in the mood that I'm in, or if that's how it really was. Because I'm seriously walking through this grocery store, and I'm giving the white women a side eye, because what kind of woman are you? Are you a Trump woman? Is that why you not smiling, or nodding, or saying hello, or what? Anyway, I think I'd appreciate a blue bracelet.
I just learned about this blue bracelet BS like 30 minutes ago, and it is probably the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. It is so divisive. There are people are like, "Oh, how do I know who I can talk to in my neighborhood?" Are you freaking kidding me? And then there are black women that are telling the white women, "We don't need your blue bracelet crap because it's white women trying to virtue signal." Oh my goodness, that they're a safe space. Are you kidding me? That's even more divisive. People, just be good people. That's all that matters. Nobody cares what color bracelet you are, and it's green, by the way. It's my watch. Get over it. I'm not blue braceleting or nothing.
I would like to take this opportunity to offer my congratulations on his election as President of the United States. As I said before, we're going to work with any head of state that is going to garner the trust of the American people, and this is what's going to happen in practice. And if he does what he has been promising, before the inauguration, if he makes a phone call, if he says, "Vladimir, let's meet," I don't think it would be beneath me to call him myself.
See, he's building those bridges back up. I just don't understand why people have a problem with that. It's a good thing to have a good rapport with the rest of the world, and especially their powerful leaders.
Fun fact, part of Project 2025 is ending no-fault divorce. So if you were planning on maybe thinking about leaving that loser husband of yours, I recommend doing it sooner rather than later. Like, just pull the plug, it's fine.
There's that media manipulation again. Project 2025 has nothing to do with Donald Trump, and he has said it openly, and I believe the guy.
American women are now adopting the 4B movement from South Korea here in America after the election. This is due to Kamala's loss to Donald Trump in the election and their fear of their rights being stripped away. And now women on social media who want to actually do something about it as a collective have gotten together to participate in this movement. And for those of you that don't know, this movement is a vow of abstinence. And in some cases, rejecting traditional roles put onto them by society, like dating men, speaking to men, having children, getting married, and in some cases, working for men, and in more extreme cases, having any involvement with men at all. It has had success in South Korea, and some blame it for their low birth rates. It has quickly gained momentum in America, where thousands of women have vowed to be a part of the 4B movement. And if it continues in future years, we can expect to see a lot of different results because of this. One of which being low birth rates. Question is, will it have a positive or negative side effect? What do you guys think about all this?
There's that abstinence thing that we were talking about at the beginning, and I am totally in favor of this form of protest, and here's why.
So apparently there's this thing called the 4B movement, and I feel like I remember this being a thing after Roe v. Wade was overturned. I don't necessarily know what 4B means, but my 30 seconds of research told me that it's actually a movement proposed by liberal women in protest of Trump being elected. And what does it entail? Oh, madness. And what I mean by madness is refusing to have sex with men that won't, commit, love, support, respect, and marry you, make you their wife. It's insane. What a brand new idea. Who's going to tell them this is actually a very common mindset among conservative women, and dare I say, traditional, old-fashioned. Oh, so you don't want to potentially procreate with a man who's refusing to commit to raising those children alongside you? Oh, right, you're going to send them a message by upping your standards and lowering the risk that more and more babies are going to be your instability in life? Wild. Oh no, don't do that. The conservatives will hate it. It's such a bummer that you're going to weed out the whiny little boys who just want to lay and leave. That's going to suck. You go, girl. You uphold those leftist feminist values.
Yeah, I'm still in favor of women respecting their bodies and not just allowing anybody to lay with them and relying on abortion to prevent a child.
Please tell me why Russia's calendar that they released last year for this year has some pretty interesting pictures that coincide with the months. And I'm just gonna show you. I'm just gonna show you. Why is that our Capitol building? Why is that a Russian soldier? Why does that look like war? Why is this for November? But honestly, there's one that's even more interesting than that. But I have to read you something before I show you because you're not going to understand why I was actually so shocked when I saw this. Okay, hold on. So I've been studying Daniel because, like, are you Daniel from whom nothing was hidden? Yeah. So Daniel chapter 7 is Daniel's dream of 4 beasts. Well, there's a beast that looks like a lion, had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it. If you want to guess on that one. That one's pretty obvious. But then there's this one. And there was a second beast, which looked like a bear, and it was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. And it was told, get up and eat your fill of flesh. And this one's the December for this Russian calendar. And the reason that I was so like, that's strange, is because it's raising one arm. And you remember how that passage, do you remember what that passage just said? Do you remember? Take a good look at it first, because also there's like a tornado behind it, or a hurricane. I don't know what that is. I really would like to know what that banner says too, but I don't read Russian. Maybe I could look and see what it says. Oh, it does. It says, it doesn't matter who is against you. It matters who is nearby. But let's just revisit that really quick. There before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear. I'm sure it looked like a bear. It was raised up on one of its sides with, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth, and it was told, get up and eat your fill of flesh. And after that, I looked before me, and there was another beast that looked like a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings like those of a bird. The beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. Like, maybe, maybe not, but that's outside the UN building in New York. Call me crazy, or don't, but it's a little too much of a coincidence for it to be a coincidence, all of these things. But there was a 4th beast, too. Let's talk about that. And then there was a 4th beast. Terrifying, frightening, and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all the former beasts, and it had 10 horns. And while I was thinking about the horns, there before me was a horn, a little one, which came up among them. And 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like a human and a mouth that spoke boastfully. So this is all speculation, in my opinion, and if this is fact, this is just me looking around with my eyeballs and through the lens of the Bible and seeing a bunch of things that just seem a little too coincidence to be coincidence. What do you think?
Okay, that is actually quite a connection she's making there. I was going to cut this clip out, but I thought it was really interesting. I don't know what to make of it.
NASA confirms Stephen Hawking's predicted end of the world. According to the projections that the physicists found, Earth will cease to exist in 2600 at the rate that we're going. Said it will be a gigantic ball of fire. And obviously before then, humanity won't be able to exist on a planet so hot that it's going to become a ball of fire. So it would be a lot before that we wouldn't exist. This rate of energy consumption, we're not able to survive. It's crazy as we know a lot of ways to run cars on something other than oil, like water even, or plastic eating microbes that you can release into the ocean to eat up all the plastic. We've proven that, and I've reported on that. But for some reason, they're more interested in using up Earth's resources and colonizing Mars instead. And obviously, we're not all going to be able to make it there. They're expecting to use up Earth until we can't live here anymore, and then the few elites that can actually go to Mars will go to Mars. NASA claims that it will take care of our planet from within and do a bunch of prevention programs, but we all know that that's just for show. The elites have made their choice, and it's pretty clear. Follow for more tea.
Is anybody getting a little New World Order vibe going on here? Like they're trying to push an agenda? Oh no, the world is going to be a ball of fire. We better move into 15-minute cities and track everybody's every move. I'm getting that vibe. Elites want to go to Mars. What do I care? Let them go to Mars. I'm not even going to be here in 2600, so it's all right.
NASA just dropped a new photo of Michigan from space, and it's pretty interesting. So they're trying to show off the fall colors, as you can see in this orangey area up here. Here's a national forest here, here's a national forest over here. But what I find most interesting about this map is this whole area right here. As you can see, this whole area is basically bare topsoil. It's desertification on the landscape. This is the result of industrial agriculture. This is the breadbasket of Michigan. It's where we grow all of our cash crops like corn, soy, wheat, sugar beets, livestock, mostly grown up here, and then a little bit down here in the extreme southeast. This barren landscape is the results of that. And what I find most amazing is you can see the excess topsoil runoff, the excess nutrients, the sedimentation here from space in Saginaw Bay. The EPA has designated Saginaw Bay as an area of concern due to algal blooms getting worse almost every summer, which are a direct result of fertilizers running off into waterways and out into the bay. Toledo famously had their drinking water poisoned by this very thing in 2014, and currently 1.4 million people get their drinking water from right about there. And historically, this looked a lot more like this. And that's not because it was virgin forest or whatever. As much as 30% of the pre-European contact population of what is now Michigan lived in the Saginaw Valley area. They actively managed the forest with low-intensity fires to promote nut-bearing species of trees like oak, hickory, walnuts, hazelnuts, and more. We should be learning from this indigenous knowledge to feed ourselves, combat climate change and the biodiversity crisis, and protect our aquatic ecosystems. This is why I advocate for tree crops as staple crops. We could have roots in the ground year-round, holding onto the soil, all while getting similar or even better yields without the need for these excess synthetic fertilizers or pesticides. The Great Lakes represent 20% of the surface freshwater in the world. It is an incredible gift that we are squandering when we do stuff like this, but we can also save it.
All right, now, economics is not my strong point, but I'm going to try and give this a little bit of a whirl. He's basically saying that that whole area needs to stop farming. Now, I understand the runoff of the fertilizer is a bad thing, and there are more natural ways that you can fertilize the ground that doesn't cause that issue, the water pollution. But if you were to just stop all the farming there and put in some trees, where's that money going to come from? Where's the food going to come from? And then the rest of Michigan just has to foot the bill because you got to import the stuff that you're no longer growing there and exporting to other states. Not to mention the thousands of jobs that will just no longer be. So that would be a huge economical problem. Is that right?
So ever since Trump got elected, my rights have been taken away from me. And it just keeps going. And I think I'm going to divorce my husband.
What are you talking
because
about?
He keeps taking my rights away from me.
I just said you couldn't have any more chickens.
Same thing!
What are you talking
Same thing!
I had no clue that that's where that was going to go. I just read the title and I was like, yep, we're watching that today. And that's hilarious. All right. I'm glad I put that at the end. We're going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. Are you freaking kidding me with this blue bracelet? Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me with this blue bracelet? Are you freaking kidding me with this blue bracelet crap? BS, it's BS. This blue bracelet BS. It's BS. It's so stupid. Oh my God, I can't believe that people are actually doing that. Oh, now I'm going to be paying attention to see who's wearing a blue bracelet.